So, happy evening, aspirants and passionate teachers. This time, we're going to discuss about the teacher's reflection form na nire-request po ninyong lahat kung ano po yung nilalaman ng teacher's reflection po. As I have posted already about the criteria of hiring for new teachers for this school year 2023-2024, andun po yung teacher's reflection form na 25 points po. So, ngayong araw na to is ating aalamin kung ano po yung napapaloob at ang mga nilalaman ng teacher's reflection po. So once again teachers, ito po yung criteria and point system for school year 2023-2024. Andyan po sa pinakahuli sa criteria ang PPST and COIS, the teacher's reflection po that measured through the teacher reflection form, and that is 25 points po. Para makakuha tayo ng pinaka mataas na score, alamin natin kung ano po yung teacher's reflection form. Una, ito po yung teachers. Basahin muna natin yung directions. Reflect on your attainment of the RPMS objective by answering the questions or prompts provided. Use any local or official language that you are comfortable with. Use extra sheets if needed. So, ang pag-answer po nito, teacher, is nakadepende po kung ano po yung gusto ninyong lingwahe na gagamitin. Might be English, Taglish, Filipino, or mag-vernacular ba kayo, mag-Bisaya, kung saan kayo comfortable. At dapat hindi lalagpas po sa 500 words yung ating sagot. Meron tayong objective. Okay? We're going to design, adapted, and implemented teaching strategies that are responsive to learners with disabilities and giftedness and talents. Now, dito tayo sa question. Okay? The context is, Hezekiah has difficulty with moving, standing, or sitting. One leg is shorter than the other one. He uses crutches to walk. Action taken. Ano yung gagawin mo? You had a conference with her parents and found out from them that Hezekiah was diagnosed with a physical condition. How will you modify the instructions for Hezekiah to keep her focused on classroom activities? Write your reflections in this form. Mentioned in your reflections as a specific learning disability that you are familiar with or have researched. So meron na po tayong mga binigay na mga posting po, teachers, patungkol po sa mga disability ng mga bata, yung giftedness and yung talents po. So it's up to you to read and familiar and be knowledgeable enough patungkol po sa mga disabilities ng ating mga learners po. And again, teacher, you are going to answer your reflection based po sa context and action taken na naandyan po sa ating objective number 9. Now, punta po tayo sa pangalawa. Directions, the same po. Reflect on your attainment of the RPMS objective by answering the questions or prompts provided. Use any local or official language that you are comfortable with. Use extra sheets if needed. And again, hindi po dapat lalagpas sa 500 words yung ating sagot sa reflection for number 2. Again, objective natin is designed, adapted, and implemented teaching strategies that are responsive to learners with disabilities, giftedness, and talents. The question number 2 is, you are going to design a lesson plan for gifted and talented learners based on your idea of how they may be addressed in your class. Your strategies for physical disability must be highlighted and annotated in this form. And remember, teacher, that in formulating or making a lesson plan, okay, for us to be familiar again and para ma-refresh and ma-review tayong lahat, di ba meron tayong sinusunod na 4 A's. Ito yung activity, analysis, abstraction, and application. And meron din tayong 7 E's, the elicit, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, extend, and evaluate. So gagawa po tayo ng lesson plan, teacher, na naaayon po sa ating question or prompt number 2. Okay? So, dapat marunong tayong gumawa ng ating own lesson plan kasi masusubok yung ating galing dito sa paggawa ng lesson plan. And again, balik tayo, pwede po tayong gagawa ng lesson plan based po sa 4A's or sa 7A's. Now, teachers, pupunta naman tayo sa pangatlo. The same directions reflect on your attainment of the RPMS objective by answering the questions, prompts provided. Use any local or official language that you are comfortable with. Use extra sheets if needed. And again, mas mabuti na hindi lalagpas yung ating mga words sa 500 po. And objective number 10 is adapted and use culturally appropriate teaching strategies to address the needs of learners from indigenous groups. Alam naman natin kung ano yung mga indigenous groups, yung mga IPs, okay? So question or prompt number 1 for objective 10. Context. Below is an assessment activity for a class of 30 learners. So, meron kang 30 learners or 30 students, 5 of whom belong to an IPs or indigenous peoples. Evaluate the appropriateness of the activity for your learners. Write your responses in this form. So you are going to reflect again, write your answers based po sa context natin. And remember, meron kang 30 learners, meron kang 30 students. 5 doon are IPs or belong to indigenous people group. So ano po yung gagawin mo bilang isang guro kung papaano po gumawa ng teaching strategies na hindi po or naaayon pa rin sa ating mga learners' need. At ang panghuli mga teachers ay same pa rin yung directions. Reflect on your attainment of the RPMS objective by answering the questions, prompts provided. Use any local or official language that you are comfortable with. Use extra sheets if needed. And again, hindi lalagpas sa 500 words yung ating answers. And objective number 10, designed, adapted, and implemented teaching strategies that are responsive to learners with disabilities, giftedness, and talents. Question number 2 or prompt 2. Designed a lesson plan for your class that integrates aspects of indigenous people. Culture using national mandates on indigenous people's education or yung Deped po as a reference. So dito tayo magbe-base teacher yung gagawin nating lesson plan for objective 10, question number 2. So yung mga references po natin ay una, Republic Act number 8371 or the Indigenous Peoples' Right Act of 1997. Second, Deped Order number 62 series of 2011 or the Adapting the National Indigenous Peoples or IP Education Policy. Next, Deped Order number 32 series of 2015 or the Adapting the Indigenous Peoples IP Education Curriculum Framework. And remember, the integration of IP culture teachers in the lesson plan must be highlighted and annotated in this reflection form. And again, you are going to attach your lesson plan here. So, dapat marunong tayong gumawa ng lesson plan talaga, teachers. And again, yung ating references, andyan na yung mga Deped Order at Republic Act number 8371. Now, after all, paano po bibigyan puntos ang ating reflection paper? Andito po, teacher, yung criteria or rubrics for teacher 1 to 3, the scoring rubric for teacher's reflection form. Una, outstanding means 5 points, very satisfactory 4 points, satisfactory 3 points, unsatisfactory 2 points, at saka yung poor ay 1 point. So isa-isahin natin kung ano po yung napapaloob sa bawat scoring rubric po, teachers. Yung nasa outstanding or 5 points, reflections, annotations, and or outputs, example yung lesson plan mo, teacher, exceed the expectation of the teacher's reflection form prompt. Yung prompt po is yung questions po na ating sinasagutan. They are complete and show comprehensive and in-depth knowledge about the topic or question by providing accurate details and some critical inputs or creativity. Next is very satisfactory or 4 points. Reflections, annotations, and or outputs, example lesson plan, exceed the expectation of the teacher's reflection form or prompt. They are complete and show comprehensive knowledge about the topic or question by providing accurate details. Yung satisfactory naman or 3 points, reflections, annotations, and or outputs, example lesson plan, meet the expectations of the teacher's reflection form question. They are complete and show sufficient knowledge about the topic or the question. Unsatisfactory or 2 points, reflections, annotations, and or outputs or your lesson plan partially meet the expectations of the teacher's reflection form question or prompt. They are either complete or incomplete and show limited knowledge about the topic or the question. And last point is poor or 1 point, reflections, annotations, and or outputs or your lesson plan do not meet the expectations of the teacher's reflection prompt. And they are incomplete and totally disconnected from what is asked. So yun po yung pagbabasihan natin sa ating teacher's reflection form po, mga teachers. And para sa mga first-timer pa na nakapanood or nakakuha ng mga documents po, again, ito po yung ating mga pertinent documents na kailangang i-prepare bago po tayo mag-submit ng ating folder or yung application po natin. Napapaloob po dyan yung ating application letter, personal data sheet form, revised 2017, PRC ID, dapat authenticated, PRC ratings, authenticated din, transcript of records, yung ating bachelor's degree, CAV po, yung certification, authentication, and verification. The general weighted average or ating GWA, voter certification, National Bureau of Investigation clearance or NBI clearance, your performance rating if any or applicable, certificates of training or mga TESDA, NC2, pwede po yun. And ang panghuli ay ang Omnibus Certification and Authenticity and Verification. And I hope dapat prepare na po tayo, teacher, lalong-lalo na pag yung division po natin ay nakabatay po sa bagong criteria on hiring teachers po. And dapat pag-igihan natin, magsumika po tayo para sa ating future or para sa ating goal po, teachers. Good luck and God bless, and again, claim it as if you own it.